Andor episode 9. It had some strong points and then it also had some weak points. So let's go talk about it. Hello, beautiful human. Welcome to Kick Up Flicks. And let me tell you something. Yes, I know I'm late, but my opinion might be different than everybody else's. You never know. And meanwhile, while we're doing this, I'm going to drink a little bit of tea. Either way, dealing with the opening of Meero interrogating Bix, it was kind of like this cat and mouse, but the cat really had the mouse trapped and was kind of like clawing at it slowly, adding that pressure, but not really wanting to get anywhere. And they spent a lot of time at this point, like on this scene. Now, I guess it was to really show how like evil and vindictive and how far that the ISB is willing to go to get what they want, to get the answers that they want so they can solve this. But I think at this point in time, even if they do solve it, it's not going to solve anything because of the galaxy-wide pressure that Palpatine is currently issuing and putting on the people at the present time. So we get this wonderful flex of power from Meero, and honestly, I really don't mind the flex of power. It's kind of enjoyable to see like the facial expressions and stuff like that. That to me was great. However, on the other hand, if you're going to talk about this torture device, really spoof it up. I mean, get them so scared that they might want to tell the truth, and then you say, no, I'm not going to believe you. That's the way I probably would have took it. But either way, that's completely fine. You put the thing on her head, it went dead silent, and then you hear Bix scream. Now, understand, Bix screaming the way she did is really kind of hard to get that kind of scream that's believable, and it really was fantastic. I loved that choice, and it was great, and it was a good end to the scene. Now, however, when we come back to Bix and she looks broken, I mean like a completely different person, sweaty, really dark makeup, the whole 9 yards, I'm thinking to myself, what are you about to say to her question? How are you going to give up the answer? I want to know, like, if you spent so long in the beginning, you give me something. I mean, just like, that's like the meat and potatoes right there for me. I mean, just give me what she says and how she says it. Just go there. I mean, you already did the torture. You did the pre-torture. Let me see the post-torture. Like, what happened? Like, how traumatizing can ISB be if we don't see it? Yes, we see a broken body. That's great. However, that doesn't prove anything. And now she's a trapped person in this room in the middle of the ISB building. Who knows what's going to happen? Then they also end up saying, I want to hang the other guy publicly so that people know who's in charge. They don't show that either. Now, they might show it next episode, which could eventually lead to an uprising because people like Bix and people like that guy too. So either way, that might end up, creating a rebellion within the planet. But at the same time, they're not really doing anything, nor did they press anything. Now, another thing is they're also showing a lot of different stories. And what I mean by that is you have the story of Meero, you have the story of Cassian, you have the story of Mon, and then you also have the story of Karn, which, by the way, we'll get to later because I'm not too sure exactly where I sit with him presently. Maybe you sit a little bit differently. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think about this character? If he's needed, if he's annoying, if you love him. I don't know. Just let me know down in the comments. Now, when Meero had the meeting with the other officers, when they were explaining how they found a rebel in a ship that was posing as something else, and they captured him, and he's in a destroyer, and then Meero comes up with this idea, is like, oh yeah, let's kill him, let's make it look like a trap, we'll send it off somewhere, and then we'll kind of pretty much see who comes and picks it up and takes it wherever. That is like the true lead of, I think, how they're going to get into where this rebellion kind of is spawning from, and not exactly where Meero was going for with Bix, because Bix kind of felt like she was that type of person that wanted to stay on the outs of information but wanted really the money. She just didn't want to know who or when or where. She just wanted the connection so that way she can continue living and running her own business. Now, the big question came to me with Bix was, okay, if you're doing this for money, what are you doing with all the money? Like, if you're running your own business, unless you're really working for the rebellion in some sort of fashion that no one really knows about, maybe that might have just came out. But either way, I'm just kind of thinking to myself, it's like, if you are the middleman or middlewoman that's running everything right now, between people, making the connections, setting up the buys and stuff like that, and you're getting your share, what are you doing with all this money? Because it doesn't make sense on why you would potentially be struggling. But then again, it doesn't really show her struggling, and it's not really her story, so I kind of get it. It is what it is, but maybe I might be thinking too much into it. But going back to Meero, yeah, I think her setting up with the just kill the rebel and see where it lies and see where they're gonna take this ship. I thought that was completely crazy, only for the simple fact is it shows how demented she is and how far she really wants to go in her career and how much she actually does care about it. Jumping over to Mon. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something about Mon. Mon, let me tell you something. When you have people turning off lights while you're trying to give a speech, it shows you that everybody's on Palpatine's side. It's not because they want to be on Palpatine's side. It's only for the simple fact is that if they're not on Palpatine's side, that their life is going to be a living hell. And no one wants to take the chance of what you are doing by potentially trying to rebel against him publicly, and that's why everybody is denying what you are trying to request of trying to ease what Palpatine is trying to do. I don't know why I got so motivated with that, but that is the simple point of this whole entire thing, where she's like in this rebellion, but she's not 100% into it, coming to find out that Vel is like this rich girl that's related to Mon, and I'm trying to think to myself, if you were just a leader and you had to disappear for a little bit and nobody asked any questions about it, like you saw a rich person literally disappear off the face of the earth and ain't nobody gonna ask no questions. Come on now. I mean, not one. I mean, let there at least be a cover up or something, or a double. I mean, something. I mean, you had to have Mon tell you to act like a rich girl. Really? Now, the stress of Mon's family, do you think that dynamic is adding any to the story? Let me know down in the comments, because I'm not exactly too sure if they really are, because I don't know if I like it. Like, you're gonna like this review, so therefore you should hit the like button and subscribe. But either way, I'm not too sure how cringy that is when I see it, just as what I just did with the whole subscribe thing, right? So it's just, I don't know if it adds anything for me. Yeah, you have a witty daughter and she just doesn't like you for some reason. I mean, who knows? She's with dad and on dad's side, and it's just, I don't really get like the dynamic of why the daughter's so upset with the mom and why she's so distant, unless the mother is just like naturally, I don't know. To me, that doesn't make sense. Let me know down in the comments if that has made any sense to you, and what do you think about it. I think if you took it out, it would give more room to tell other stories or add more to it. It's just say, hey, I'm part of the rebellion. My life kind of sucks right now. I'm married to a man that I don't want to be married to. My daughter kind of hates me for an unknown reason that we have no idea, other than she's spoiled and mom has the most rules compared to dad. Now, moving on to the one person that I really didn't really want to move on to, which is Karn. He's annoying. He's obsessive. He's a stalker. He's depressed. He's a liar. He's like only motivated to work for the ISB or in the military in some form or fashion. And he's kind of weirding me out. I don't really understand his storyline or his angle. It's almost like the show is purposely putting him in a position that he's just there to fill air. He hasn't really done anything. He hasn't done any background information searching, nothing. Like he hasn't put any boots on the ground. He hasn't traveled anywhere other than to stalk Meero. And I think to myself, it's like, okay, if you are so obsessed with finding Cassian, go search where he's from. Like, look up everything that you know and go find him in some sort of way that you can give information to be put back on the job that you want to be on. But no, you're still going to the same job. Or either that you're skipping, and then your mom is searching through your stuff, and mom saying, I want my reward. I need me some money for holding you up, which again is very much responsible, especially since your mom is cooking you 2 meals a day, on top of that pressing your own clothes. It's like, that is also, let's get into that. That makes no sense for a person that's so like uptight, high and tidy. Let me get everything tailored to my body. I need to look completely fine and have a messy room and not have my shit together by not being able to actually go, literally cook for myself or anything that involves dating. Nothing other than just, I need to go find Cassian Andor. You're telling me you're that debilitated that you can't take care of yourself and your mom is doing everything for you and there's no thank you at the end of the day? Let me know down in the comments what you think about Karn, because I'm not exactly too sure right now. But other than that, let's move on to the high prize right here, which is Cassian Andor. Listen, this man, unknown amount of time since how much time has passed since last episode, but as far as we know, he is trying to figure out how to get out. And we don't know exactly who he's working with. I thought he wasn't working with the other tables, but I guess he is in some form or fashion. They are planning an escape, but what really tipped the scale for me personally that I saw is that when they fried the second floor, when the doctor told Loy after the old man had a major stroke that no one's getting out, that you will be released and then put into a different floor, Loy's like, what else do I have to do? Of course I want to get out now. Why? Because either I'm going to die here, but I don't want to die here. I want to have at least fight for my freedom, which is very respectable. Consequences that the prisons are doing that is coming down from Palpatine, PORD. I will tell you this right now. You can double time all you want. It's going to lead to rebellion inside a prison. Now, if a prison is starting to rebel or is going to rebel, just know that the people on a planet, they have all the time to rebel or join a rebellion. And I think this is where it starts. It's going to start toward the end of this season. The rebellion's coming and it's going to go full on. Now, is everybody going to be on the same side? No. Why? Because we already see that the Empire already has their one ship that they need that they're going to set up as a trap. They're on the case of Cassian with a far stretch. Eventually, they're going to catch up to him. Potentially not, because they have no idea that he's already in one of their prison systems. The one person that might be Andor's Achilles heel is none other than the one person who annoys the living crap out of me, which is Karn. I think he's just going to come out of the woodworks with something and then boom, that's it. And it kind of sucks that they're using Cassian's mom as a, lure, which does make sense. But at the same time, if he can get in initially undetected, I think he could do it again and potentially get out undetected, no matter how many people are watching his house. So we'll end up seeing what happens with all of that. Again, let me know what you thought about this episode. They did some things good. They did things that are a little bit less attractive, more like not being able to finish a part that they're trying to tell in the story. I wish they would put a punchline on everything and just kind of draw a line and then move on and then see where that develops later on during the season. That I don't mind. But to leave me open-ended on a lot of stuff is kind of boring, but it might be just because they're telling a lot of stories. But either way, let me know down in the comments once again what you think about this whole entire episode. What do you think about it since the beginning of the season? I've enjoyed it so much so far. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. If you've stood here this long, thank you so much. And click that bell notification so you won't miss anything. And most importantly, don't forget to kick up and not down. I'll see you the next time I post. Peace.